Rumi is one of the most intriguing characters in K-pop Demon Hunters, precisely because of her half-demon origin that makes her so powerful. But did you know she might not be the only one with this trait? And that other characters could be hiding the same secret? Jinu. The connection between Guima and Jinu wasn't random. The leader of the Saja boys has always been a mysterious character, but few picked up on the subtle hints that he might have a dark heritage. His father's absence was never explained, but maybe that disappearance wasn't accidental. What if he had to stay away to protect his son from forces trying to capture or control him because he was half demon? With this theory, the arrival of the Demon King in Jinu's life takes on a whole new meaning. Instead of being just a random encounter, the villain could have been drawn to the demonic essence flowing through the veins of the Saja boys' leader. The universe of K-pop Demon Hunters is packed with mysteries and characters hiding way more than they let on. Step right in, the video has already started. Zoe. Zoe might actually be, without realizing it, the result of a dark pact her mother made with Guima when she was just a baby. To stop her daughter from dying, her mother accepted a deal with the king of the underworld. Unlike other demons created directly by the underworld, Zoe doesn't carry visible marks, because her essence was fused in a hidden, subtle way, as if it were asleep. That's why she looks fully human, but in moments of extreme stress or anger, tiny sparks of that power slip out, revealing there's something much darker inside her. The most unsettling part is that Zoe herself has no clue about this truth. While she fights alongside the hunters, believing she's just another warrior, Guima could be patiently waiting for the right moment to awaken her demon side completely. When that happens, she could turn into not just a threat, but the most powerful weapon of the underworld against her own friends. Meera. Meera might also be half-demon. One of the most complex theories in K-pop Demon Hunters is definitely about Meera's origin. When a photo of her as a little kid around 8 or 9 years old surfaced, fans basically freaked out. Why? Because her hair was pink. And let's be honest, what conservative parents would let a child that young dye her hair? Almost none. So the most obvious explanation is that it wasn't dye at all. It was part of her demonic heritage. Another detail that had fans scratching their heads was her friend Rumi, who also had naturally purple hair. That's super unusual, since no other character in the franchise has traits like that. In other words, the two might share some kind of supernatural bond. But here's the tricky part: the demonic markings. If Meera really is half-demon, why have they never appeared on her? The most accepted theory is that she managed to block the sign somehow. Maybe because of her personality or a special ability. That actually makes sense when you remember Rumi. At first, when she was a child, the markings didn't cover her whole body, but over time they spread. In Meera's case, maybe she went through a traumatic experience that forced her to lock away that side of herself. Some fans believe that as a child, she might have hurt someone close, her brother, and it was so traumatic that her mind erased the memory and suppressed her powers. What makes it even more fascinating is that Meera always acts so calm and controlled. But what if that's just a mask? What if she's been hiding this dark power all along, waiting for the right moment to unleash it? Rumi's father. Rumi might be the most famous half-demon in the family, but she's not necessarily the only one in this supernatural club. A lot of people think she's the only one with that title in K-pop Demon Hunters, but the truth could be very different. That's because her father might also carry the same dark heritage, just in a much more mysterious way. The movie makes it super suspenseful. We basically know nothing about him, as if the writers decided to keep the whole character file under eternal secret mode. We know her mother's fate, but when it comes to her dad, total silence. That alone has been enough for fans to spin countless theories. Some think he was a powerful demon who fell in love with a hunter, but maybe he wasn't 100% demon. And here's where things get even stranger. No one has ever said how he really disappeared. The most common theory is that he was hunted down and banished to the underworld, but what if not? What if instead, he chose to hide in the demon realm to avoid being tracked down by the hunters? Now just imagine this. With the Rainbow Moon appearing in the storyline, this could be the perfect chance for Rumi's father to make a grand comeback. And what if he returns not only as a half-demon, but with revelations that completely flip the story upside down? That would be the kind of plot twist that makes you drop your popcorn. Before we go on uncovering more characters who might be half demons and K-pop demon hunters, drop a comment below with the word secret. Mystery. Mystery is without a doubt one of the most fascinating Saja boys in K-pop demon hunters. From his very first appearance, fans were already suspicious. Why does he look so different from the others? Why does his presence always carry this mysterious vibe, almost like he's hiding a massive secret? Well, a lot of people believe that secret is the fact he's half demon. The most talked about theory is that Mystery is actually Meera's long-lost brother. According to fans, when he was still a child, he was either kidnapped or forced into making a demonic pact against his will. That would actually make sense when you think about his parents' strict and controlling behavior. All that pressure could have driven him to desperately search for a way out. And let's be honest, if there's one thing that never ends well, it's making a pact with a demon. You're basically asking to star in a tragedy. But what really set off fans' alarms were the tiny visual details. Take the earrings, for example. Both Mystery and Meera wear very similar accessories. And in a production where every single detail has meaning, that can't just be a coincidence. For the most attentive fans, it's basically the writers silently confessing that the two aren't enemies at all, but siblings. And the most intriguing part is that this arc could open up tons of possibilities for the future. If Mystery really is Meera's brother, what was the price of the pact he made? Can he still be saved, or is he forever trapped between human and demonic? And most of all, how would their family react to such a reunion? Baby Saja. There's no doubt that baby Saja is, in some way, a half-demon, or at least something very close to it. One of the clearest clues is his pupils, which look human and are completely different from the other Saja boys, and that got fans' minds spinning with theories. One of the most popular ideas is that he isn't a full demon, but rather a spiritual entity corrupted by Guima. Another theory suggests he used to be human but ended up corrupted. Only because of his young age, he hasn't finished the transformation yet. In other words, he hasn't ingested all the demonic pills and is still in training for his villain career. What's most interesting is thinking about baby Saja's potential. Is he just at the beginning of his demonic journey, or is there still a shot at redemption? Some fans believe he could still be saved, that there's a chance for him to control his dark side before it becomes permanent. Others think he's just starting to explore his powers and will eventually grow into one of the most powerful antagonists in the franchise. So what do you think? Is baby Saja just a rookie trying to figure out the demonic world? Or was he born to be a big player in this war between humans and demons? Abby. Inside Dr. Han's office, we see an image that caught the attention of many fans. 4 recognizable human members, and among them, Abby. It's no coincidence that she stands out. Many believe she's also half-demon, which would explain why she looks more natural compared to the other demons in the franchise. The most accepted theory is that, in the past, Abby made a pact with Guima after her band flopped and she desperately wanted success. Just like Jinu, Abby had to adapt to modern times to keep her power and influence alive. Romance. Romance also shows up in the office image, and many fans believe he's half-demon too, which would explain his more human appearance. The theory goes that he made the exact same pact with Guima right alongside the other Saja boys in a desperate bid for fame after their band failed. If you're not part of it yet, take this moment to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll catch every update without missing a thing. Selene. Have you ever stopped to think about why Selene is so sure the Golden Hoon Moon will be able to erase all of Rumi's markings? The answer probably lies in her own experience. If Selene herself was once half-demon, then she knows firsthand the weight and complexity of those markings. And if that's true, her story becomes even more complicated. Throughout her life, she had to hide her true self, feel ashamed, and believe that everything she carried was a mistake. A mistake that, in a way, shaped her personality, her decisions, and even the way she relates to her adopted daughter. When you put this theory into the context of the second movie, it fits perfectly. Selene spent years accepting parts of herself, even without fully dealing with them. She raised Roomie the best way she could, though she couldn't give the girl all the affection she needed, precisely because Selene herself was still carrying fears and insecurities. And the complexity doesn't stop there. The markings aren't just visual signs of power, they carry memories, repressed emotions, and even past traumas. For someone like Selene, who spent her whole life trying to hide, learning to manipulate those markings is more than just power. It's a form of redemption. She learned to deal with guilt, shame, and the heavy secrets that weighed on her. And now she wants to pass that knowledge on to Rumi, so the girl won't make the same mistakes or suffer from the same fears. On top of that, the story raises even more intriguing questions. If Selene managed to erase or control her markings, did she have to pay some price for it? Could it have been a painful, maybe even dangerous experience that almost destroyed her emotionally? And how does that connect to Rumi? Will the girl have to go through something similar before she can finally break free? Other characters. There are other half-demons in K-pop demon hunters who aren't famous. Have you ever really stopped to think about that? Here we're talking about someone who's half-demon, but whom Guima, the king of the underworld, simply cannot control. That alone is shocking after all. The villain is responsible for controlling all known demons. So why can't he control these ones? The explanation could be that there are other half-demons scattered across the world, operating outside the rules of the underworld. That opens the door for a massive twist in the movie. Just imagine, beings who don't obey the supreme villain, creating chaos and surprises nobody ever expected. Rumi went through enormous struggles, carried guilt, felt lonely, and believed she was a mistake, a product of a wrong relationship with painful consequences. But what if she isn't the only one? If there are others like her scattered across the world, everything changes. Suddenly, the loneliness, guilt, and weight she feels transform into something bigger. A network of beings also facing challenges, but with the potential to change the balance of the demonic world. This not only reshapes the plot, but also adds a powerful emotional layer. The character stops being just an exception and becomes part of something bigger, showing that even those who think they were born flawed or as failures can be central in a conflict that redefines everything around them. These theories about half-demons who escape Guima's control not only make the plot more intriguing, but also prove that the world of K-pop demon hunters is far bigger than it seems. Every character carries secrets, traumas, and powers that can flip the game at any moment. This is the perfect time for you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way, no update will ever slip by.